Hello everyone. Today our story is about how to overcome laziness. Now let's get into the story. Once upon a time, in a quiet village at the foot of a great mountain, there lived a young man named Arin. While other villagers spent their days working in the fields and workshops, Arin spent his time lying under a shady tree napping, daydreaming, and doing nothing productive. Whenever he was hungry, he would beg for food, often turning to a wise old monk who lived nearby. The monk would pass by regularly, always seeing Arin in the same place idle and unchanged. One day, the monk approached him and asked, Arin, why do you lie here all day? Why don't you work in the fields like the others? Arin replied lazily, Working in the fields is too hard. I'm not made for that kind of life. The monk looked at him kindly and asked, Would you like to be rich? Arin immediately sat up, curiosity in his eyes. Of course, who wouldn't? The monk pointed to the towering mountain behind the village. Beyond that mountain lies a secret cave. Inside it rests a diamond so rare and precious it could make you rich for the rest of your life. Arin was amazed but hesitant. Climbing that mountain sounds difficult. The monk replied, Yes, but if you're not willing to make the effort, then you're not ready for the reward. He turned and began to walk away. Wait, Arin called out. Are you serious? Is there really a diamond? The monk turned back and said, What lies beyond the mountain can't be seen from here, but those who seek it often find more than they expect. Motivated by the idea of wealth, Arin decided to begin the journey. The climb was steep and exhausting. He stumbled, he slipped, he grew tired. But for the first time in his life, he kept going. Step by step, he discovered something inside himself: resilience, focus, and determination. After much struggle, he finally reached the top. He looked out over the valley and felt something new pride and a sense of accomplishment. But the journey wasn't over. As he descended toward the cave, the path became even harder. He fell several times. He was bruised, exhausted, but still driven by the promise of the diamond. At last, he reached the cave. His heart pounding with excitement, he stepped inside. But the cave was empty. No diamond, no treasure, nothing. He searched every corner, again and again, but it was no use. Disappointed, confused, and angry, he sat down. Why would the monk lie to me? He thought. For a moment, he considered giving up, staying in the valley. But he knew he couldn't survive there. So, despite the pain, he began the journey back. When he finally returned to the village, weak and worn but changed, the monk was there waiting. Welcome back, Arin, the monk said. You didn't find a diamond in the cave, did you? Arin shook his head. There was nothing. The monk smiled. But you climbed the mountain. You endured hardship. You kept going when it got tough. And now you are stronger than when you left. He leaned in and said, That is the diamond I spoke of. It's called diligence. With it, you can achieve anything. In that moment, Arin understood. He had always had the potential to be great, but his laziness had kept it hidden. Now, he had found something more valuable than a diamond: discipline and purpose. From that day on, Arin began to work in the fields with passion and dedication. And slowly, his life began to transform. The moral of the story: this story is not just about Arin, it's about all of us. We often struggle with laziness and procrastination. But the real problem isn't lack of ability, it's lack of direction. First, when we have no goal, we drift. But when we set a clear purpose, motivation follows. Second, comfort can be a trap. Arin only found strength when he left his comfort zone. So, can we? Third, we underestimate ourselves. Arin never thought he could climb a mountain, but he did because he tried. Discipline is not something we're born with, it's something we earn through effort and persistence. The diamond isn't in the cave, it's in the courage to begin, the strength to continue, and the wisdom to learn. So ask yourself, what's your mountain? Are you ready to climb? The greatest treasure lies not at the end of the journey, but in who you become along the way. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this story, share it with someone who needs a little motivation today.